Hello everyone, welcome to NEDME. My name is Vasu. In this video, we will discuss Chapter 3 of Class 6th History NCERT, From Gathering to Growing Food. Farmers grow different crops in different areas as plants require different conditions to grow. For example, rice needs more water than wheat and barley. Different animals too prefer different environments. As the climate of the world was changing and conditions became warmer, plants and animals of the world also changed. People observed places where edible plants were found, how seeds fell on the ground and new plants sprouted from them. Perhaps they began looking after plants, protecting them from birds and animals so that plant could grow and the seeds could ripen. In this way, people became farmers. They also attracted animals by leaving food for them near their shelters and then taming them. The first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of dog. Little people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle like sheep, goat, cattle and pig to come near to the camps where they lived. Often people protected these animals from attacks by other wild animals. This is how they became herders. Domestication is the name given to the process in which people grow plants and look after animals. Very often plants and animals that are tended by people become different from wild animals and plants. This is because people select plants and animals for domestication. For example, they select plants that are not prone to disease, yield larger size grains, etc. Seeds from selected plants are preserved and sown to ensure that new plants will have same qualities. Amongst animals, those that are relatively gentle are selected for breeding. Domestication was a gradual process that took place in many parts of the world. It began about 12,000 years ago. Some of the earliest plants to be domesticated were wheat and barley and animals like sheep and goat. When people began growing plants, it meant they had to stay in the same place for a long time, looking after the plants, watering and weeding them, and driving away animals and birds. As grain had to be stored for both food and seed, people had to think of ways of storing it. In many areas, they began making large clay pots or wove baskets or dug pits into the ground. On the other hand, animals multiply naturally. Besides, if they are looked after carefully, they provide milk and meat. That is, they can also be used as a store of food. Here on map, these are some of the sites from where archaeologists have found evidences of early farmers and herders. Found all over the subcontinent, some of the important ones are in the northwest and in East and South India. Scientists study evidence of plants and animal bones to find out whether these sites were settlements of farmers and herders. By studying remains of burnt grains, scientists can identify the grains and so we know about the crops that were grown in the subcontinent in the past. They can also identify the bones of different animals. Let's see of what grains and animals evidences are found at some of the sites. In present-day Pakistan at Mehargar, evidences of wheat, barley, sheep, goat and cattle are found. In present-day Kashmir at Doujilli, evidences of wheat, lentil, dog, cattle, sheep, goat and buffalo are found. In the east at the Kodhiva, evidences of rice and fragmentary animal bones. At Chirand, evidence of wheat, barley, green gram, buffalo and dog. And at Mehargar, evidences of rice and cattle are found. In the south at Payampalli, black gram, millet, cattle, sheep, pig. And at Hallur, archaeologists have found evidences of millet, cattle, sheep, goat and pig. Archaeologists have found traces of huts or houses at some sites. For instance, in Doujilli, situated in present-day Kashmir, people built pit houses dug into the ground with steps leading into them. These may have provided shelter in cold weather. Cooking huts found inside and outside the huts suggests that people could cook food indoor or outdoor depending on the weather. Stone tools that are different from Paleolithic tools have been found from many sites. We call them Neolithic sites. These include tools that were polished to give a fine cutting edge and mortar and pestle for grinding grain and other plant produce. At these times, Paleolithic type tools were continued to be made and used. We can see here how Neolithic tools are different and sharper and more polished than the Paleolithic tools on the right. Many kinds of earthen pots have also been found. These were sometimes decorated and used for storing things and cooking as well. Besides, people began weaving cloths using cotton and other different kinds of materials. We have to understand that things did not change everywhere at once, but gradually over the period of 1,000 years and at different parts in different times. Archaeology does not tell us directly about customs and practices of the time, but studying life of present-day herders and farmers who practice simple agriculture, we can say people lived in groups called tribes. So what are the tribes? Tribes are small settlements in which usually 2 or 3 generations live together. Here most families are related to one another. Members of tribe follow occupations such as hunting, gathering, farming, herding and fishing. Women mostly do agricultural works. Children look after plants, protecting them from birds and animals, and men usually lead large herd of animals in search of pasture. They also take part in singing, dancing, and decorating their huts. Some men are regarded as leaders. They may be old, experienced or young, brave warriors or priests. Tribes have rich and unique cultural traditions and have their own gods and goddesses. Tribes are different from other societies in a way that land, forest, grasslands and water are regarded as the wealth of the entire tribe, and there is no such sharp difference between the rich and the poor. Now let's look at one of the Neolithic sites, Mehargar, which is located in a fertile plain near Bolan Pass in Baluchistan, present-day Pakistan. It is one of the earliest villages that we know about. Mehargar was probably one of the places where women and men learned to grow barley and wheat and rear sheep and goats for the first time in this area. Archaeologists have found evidences of many kinds of animal bones from the earliest levels such as the deer and pig. In later levels, cattle bones are most common, suggesting that this was the animal that was generally kept by the people. You may be wondering, what are these early and later levels? Let's understand. Suppose people start living on flat land. Over the years, as people discard waste materials, the surface will gradually rise. Generally, they stay and rebuild houses in the same place, and after hundreds of years, this leads to the formation of a mound. So when this mound is dug up, what is found from the upper levels is generally from a later time than what is found from lower levels which are older. Coming back to Mehargar, other finds here includes remains of square and rectangular houses. Each house had 4 or more compartments, some of which may have been used for storage. Several burial sites are found at Mehargar. In one instance, that person was buried with goats which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. It signifies that people believed that there was some form of life after death. Let's look at another site, Doujilli Hudding. This is a site on the hills near the Brahmaputra Valley. Here stone tools like mortar and pestles have been found. These indicate that people were probably growing grain and preparing food from it. Other find includes jadeite, a stone that may have been brought from China. Tools made of fossil wood and pottery are also common here. Fossil wood is ancient wood that has hardened into stone. That is all from this chapter. Let's revise what we have learned. We came to know why different plants and animals prefer different conditions, how hunter-gatherers became farmers and herders, what is domestication, about the new way of people's life, how they started staying at a place for a long time and started storing grains and animals. Then we saw sites from where archaeologists have found evidences of early farmers and herders, pit houses in Burjahom, about Neolithic sites, how people lived in tribes, and at last about 2 Neolithic sites, Mehargar in northwest and Doujilli Hudding situated near Brahmaputra Valley. Thank you so much for watching everyone. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And in the next video, we will discuss 4th chapter in the earliest cities. Check the link of the video in description and I will see you in the next video.